I think we should say this is a little bit of like a retro week. We are back here on week 13, on the 13th video of the 13th week of this NFL season, the 2 days before Thanksgiving. And we're kind of back in our old studio, aka my old office, and we're going to be live streaming from here. So we thought we'd get everything set up and tested for Thursday. And if you notice, a lot of the stuff behind us is not sports related anymore. It's very nerdy. This is actually the setup from my other YouTube channel. So I'm gonna pimp this right now without Jason even knowing. If you search YouTube for Cake in a Cave, it's actually a channel based on this kind of stuff: games, pop culture, movies, music, stuff from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Just the way I live my life and the kind of fun I have when I'm not very anxious over freaking last minute field goals being blocked and Hail Marys and touchdown passes. But I'll put a link down below. Check out Cake in a Cave if you'd subscribe just to support the channel. That would be awesome. But anyway, how was your week 12?
Yeah, I mean, football was another eventful week. My Packers smashed the 49ers. Happy about that. We know the Bears still do suck after further review. The Lions continue to dominate, and the Giants are terrible. So that sums it all up pretty much.
Are you trying to tell me Tommy DeVito was not the answer?
Tommy DeVito is definitely not the answer. He probably just needs to go work at Dominic.
What was it I texted you? I said that an actual cutlet would play better than Tommy Cutlets on the field.
Yeah.
Looked like a dead piece of meat while he was playing. So enough of that, guys. Welcome back in. So we're about to give you all the Feathers picks for week 13, which starts in less than 48 hours. So here's the last reminder for you that at 9:15-ish, Thursday morning, Thanksgiving, we're going to be right back in here live streaming, watching the games with you, having some fun, some trivia, doing some play-by-play. Live stream all the way up until the second game of the afternoon finishes. The Cowboys. And who are they playing?
Your Giants, of course.
Oh, actually, now you got to wonder.
So it's
people who saved their pick for for the Cowboys for Thanksgiving, they're loving life.
The Cowboys, after beating Washington, I have a little more faith in them. And the Giants, I'm pretty sure they're in full-on tank mode.
Yeah, so we can draft the interior lineman. But enough of that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you guys on Thursday live. We'll be chatting with you when we do that. But for now, let's go ahead and before we get there, let me tell them last week for week 12 on picks had a even 6-6 with one push. Wait, which is the push?
Yep, 6-6-1. One push. The Vikings -3.
That's right, because the Vikings screwed me. The Vikings like to screw everybody. But 2-0 on your Take to the Bank pick, so having a good streak with that still this season.
6-1 on Taking to the Bank the last 2 weeks, so can't do much better than that.
All right, but enough of week 12. Let's get into what we're going to call week 13 with our Thanksgiving Day games. All right, let's start with the first Thursday morning game that we'll be live streaming along with you guys, 9:30 a.m. Get ready for two of Jason's favorite teams, the Chicago Bears, sitting at 4-7, versus one of his other favorite teams, the Detroit Lions, are at 10-1. And speaking of 10, that's how many points they're currently favored by at home against the turkey list last year, Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heck of a game. Bears-Lions at the beginning of the year. A lot of hype on the Bears. Thought this game would be a little bit bigger of a game, but now the Bears have done what they usually do, and they've sputtered out and lost 5 in a row, standard. And the Lions continue to thrive and become the fan favorites to people, and also the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. This team seems pretty unstoppable, and now they're at home on Thanksgiving Day, which they've had their ups and downs, but in general, Detroit plays pretty well on Thanksgiving Day, and this is a great spot for them here. What can I say? The Bears, Caleb Williams. This team, they're going to fire their coach, I'm sure, by the end of the year. They don't fire him mid-year because that's not how the Bears organization works. They'll fire him after, but he's going to be gone no matter what. I just don't see. I think they're going to. I predicted last week they would have a bit of a fight in them, and they did. They got it, pretty close against Minnesota. This week, not so much. I just don't see a path that the Lions are not going to come out. Their nationally televised game, Dan Campbell's going to have them pumped up, ready to roll. And I think they're going to want to stick it to the Bears as hard as possible. Lions minus 10. We're going to go with it. It's a lot of points in the NFL and it's a division game, but the Bears, I think, are going to be, having to travel to Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. I think the morale is low. I think the veterans are just kind of fed up right now with how things are going, and I think it's going to reflect on the field. The Lions at 10-1 are going to go to 11-1, and they're going to cover that 10 points. Boom.
All right, we just previously mentioned this one at 1:30, which will also still be live for. I guess they're still my team. My New York Giants at America's team. Me versus America. Giants at a whopping 2-9 this season, when I really thought they'd actually win more than 5 games. And Dallas Cowboys, a tiny bit of a surge, sitting at 4-7, and the Cowboys at home in Jerry's world are 3.5-point favorites. So after this past weekend, does this game have any difference in what you thought it would be?
2 or 3 weeks ago, I actually would have thought the Giants would actually have a fighting chance in this game. It's tough to say. They had a huge win against Washington, which was not expected, and they're at home now, which they've not only lost the last, I think, 5+ games at home, but by double digit. Now they're 3.5-point favorites to the Giants. The problem is the Giants are using their team mascot as quarterback. And in reality, if you have the team mascot as your quarterback, you're probably not trying to win football game. So they kept the real quarterback on the bench, and Tommy DeVito, the token Italian from New York.
The token Italian, there's a lot of us in New York. Token generally means there's one of a specific type of person.
Yeah, I don't know what they have to be in tank mode, because how in the world are they starting Tommy DeVito when he was the number 3 quarterback all year, but magically Daniel Jones gets dropped, and Drew Lock was the designated number 2. He's getting paid, I think, $5 million this year.
Yeah.
The Giants will never say it, but the reality is they're in full-on tank mode, and Tommy DeVito is a more likely chance that they're going to lose the game, whereas Drew Lock can win them games potentially. It's pretty tough, but he can do it better than Tommy. So with that in mind, take the Cowboys minus 3.5. Take it to the bank all day long. The Cowboys are going to get off the schneid. They're going to get the W at home finally. They're going to cover the 3.5. And the Giants are going to be one step closer to that number 1 draft pick. Boom.
That's like when you bet against your team. So either way, you're happy if they win or lose. So I guess I would like to see them lose. That's a win maybe for the draft pick. Now, unfortunately, at 5:20 p.m. for our next game, you're going to be forced to be having a delicious multi-course meal here at home cooked Thanksgiving with us. You'll be missing the beginning maybe of your favorite team. That is going to be not the Miami Dolphins, who are going to be 5-6, at your Green Bay Packers, who are at 8-3. Packers, no respect, less Thanksgiving. This year they're coming in -3.
The table is set. Tua and this Miami Dolphins team is 0-11 in weather under 40 degrees. It is going to be 28 degrees, a balmy 28 degrees come kickoff time. And I believe at some point during kickoff time, it's going to go down close to 20 degrees. Not Miami type weather, but this Miami Dolphins team is playing well. I've picked them the last few weeks. They're doing what I expected them to do. They're kind of getting back on track. Tua's looking solid. Everyone holds their breath every game as he tries to lunge for first downs. He's holding up. He's still physically doing okay. This Miami team is fighting for that 7th spot, and they're going to need to win a bunch of games yet to do it. I do not believe Miami has to win this game. I think that they could still lose this game and still get home a playoff position. I think 9-8 can get it home for the 7 seed. The win would definitely help their cause. Green Bay in this running game with Josh Jacobs is unbelievable. This team is doing great things. Josh Jacobs has turned out to be probably one of the best free agent signings for the Packers and in the league, next to Derrick Henry probably. The question is Jordan Love going to make mistakes? I want him to have the gunslinger mentality. They don't want to keep him as a game manager because he's not. This guy can make huge plays, but he has to learn that, guess what? He has a defense behind him. He has a great running game behind him, and he doesn't need to take unnecessary chances, and he's going to do just that in this game. Miami is going to fall short. We're going to take the Green Bay Packers -3 at home at Lambeau in the cold weather. Miami's going to try to put up a fight. They're going to give a lot of heart and effort, but in the end, defense, that it's probably one of the best defenses they've had in years, is going to be the difference maker. Green Bay gets it done, -3, covers, take it to the bank all day long. They did it last week for us. We took Miami also as the other take it to the bank. Now they're playing each other, and it's going to be winner, chicken dinner, Green Bay Packers. Boom.
You're taking the Packers? I'm actually shocked. Let's move on to what is now a thing, this Black Friday game. You know, even 6-8 months ago, why was this the game that they chose to put on? Once again, the Chiefs. So why don't you just call it the Chiefs Friday game? That's the Swift Friday game, whatever. You go out and shop, go find that big
summed it
TV.
up. Yeah, that's why they put it on.
Exactly. That's probably true.
Because of Swift, and that's why you got to watch it on Amazon Prime, I think, right?
Yeah.
Amazon. So it's like another Amazon Prime Chiefs game. Like, who wants to tune into this shit show anyway?
Well, if you got nothing better to do at noon on Friday, you could tune in to Amazon Prime, not sponsored, to watch the Las Vegas Raiders at 2-9 play the Kansas City Chiefs at 10-1. Once again, the Chiefs are a huge favorite, minus 12.5. And once again, probably like if I tossed a coin with Jason, heads or tails, it would land on its side because you cannot get the right side of a Chiefs game
until last
week. But it has been your bane this entire season. That no matter what you pick for or against, you can't get it. The Carolina Panthers, they help you to shake that monkey off your back, and almost won.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing. Yeah. But let's go ahead and hear it. Remember, this is only about a 35-minute show. Raiders and Chiefs.
I mean, let's be real. They're on their third string quarterback in Raiderland. This team is the clown show of Las Vegas and the NFL. Next year, hopefully they get something cooking. New coach. Hopefully Tom Brady, brings some of that winning ways. But for right now, they're beat up at running back. Although last year around this time, well, it was around Christmas time when Kansas City lost to the Raiders, but that is not this. Short of a Thanksgiving day after Black Friday miracle, the Raiders cannot win this game. We're going to rule that out right away. The question is 12.5 points is a lot of points. The Chiefs, literally, people are starting to question whether or not they are the real deal. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, you can't ever count him out. This team finds a way to win, but they are squeaking by the smallest margins, and they're showing chinks in the armor on offense, and everyone keeps saying, hey, they're winning. There's some tough games coming up for them, and I believe the Chiefs, when it's all said and done, are going to lose 3 or 4 games in the regular season total. This is not going to be one of them. Believe it or not, the Chiefs actually are going to find a way to not win by only a couple points when they do win, and they are going to cover this 12.5. It's gross. It's a lot of points. The Chiefs have done nothing to earn this cover, but that goes to tell you how bad the Raiders really are, that I'm going to jump on the Chiefs minus 12.5, basically beating the Sisters of the Poor Middle School of Las Vegas, Nevada. Take the Chiefs, 12.5 favorites, the cover, boom.
All right, let's move on to Sunday. What's happening Sunday? Leftovers still being eaten, I'm sure. We have 2 Costco pies. One will be half eaten on the live stream this Thursday, starting at 9:15 a.m. Probably still shopping because Black Friday now lasts a month and a half. We are going to start with the Tennessee Titans. Had a game this weekend, sitting at 3-8 now, against the Washington Commanders. We're currently at 7-5. Those Commanders are 5.5-point favorites.
The Titans, they came in and they beat the Houston Texans last week, and they're destroyed one of my picks. I don't know what happened there. The Texans had a total breakdown, but this Titans team is not the real deal. I mean, they're going to have a new coach probably next year, I would think, but maybe not. I think they're going to probably give them another shot. Who knows? The Commanders have been slipping a little bit. They've kind of now dumped a couple games, quite a bit back in the division race. They're 3 games plus the tiebreaker behind the Eagles. So the division is pretty much slipping away. Now they're fighting for that, 5 or 6, that 6 or 7 seed in the wild card world, which is now kind of in doubt as well. They're going to probably get there, and they're definitely not going to lose to the Titans this week. We're going to take the Commanders minus 5.5. They're going to get right. This team is too skilled on both sides of the ball. Their defense has stepped up when it started out pretty slow. This offense, this running game, good coaching, going to be enough. The Tennessee Titans are going to fall hard. Take the Commanders minus 5.5. Boom.
All right, let's go to the next morning game. I had to think about it for a second. Los Angeles Chargers, 7-4 record, are at the Atlanta Falcons with the 6-5 record. Falcons kind of falling fast here. Chargers are the 1.5-point favorite on the road.
Falcons are still in first place in the division. Tampa Bay is creeping up closer to them. Baker's having a great year. They now have Mike Evans back. Bucky Irving has been a great addition in a 1-2 punch with him and White at running back. They're in Atlanta. The Chargers, are in a spot where they just came off of a rough loss. Now they're going to come and turn around and go on a road trip to Atlanta on a short week. Falcons in a must-win spot. Seems though they've been slipping. The Falcons are coming off a bye. I do believe Kirk Cousins is going to get right this game. Bijan Robinson's been a pleasant, player this year. He's definitely improved since last year now that he's actually given the ball and getting more action. The Falcons +5. We're going to take the home underdogs to upset the Chargers coming in as road favorites. Falcons are going to get it done at home in a must-needed win. Chargers will fall to 7-5, but they'll still be okay in the world of playoffs. Falcons need the win to keep that buffer in the first place spot in their division. Take the Falcons +1.5. Boom.
Next, let's go with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-3 record, at probably the best team with a 4-7 record coming off a bye ever. Longtime followers of the podcast will know what I'm getting at. This is Jason's best team ever, no matter what their record, Cincinnati Bengals. But they are the 2.5-point favorites at home against the Steelers. That's something.
That speaks volumes, right? I mean, it goes along the line. I mean, an 8-3 team is underdogs to the 4-7 team by 2.5 points. Because, like I said, the Bengals are the best 4-7 team in the history of the world. Joe Burrow is having what could be an MVP type season. Jamar Chase is having a literally #1 wide receiver kind of year. This offense is great, but guess what? Their defense didn't get the memo to show up, and they have been leaking points like a boat with a hole in it. That's the problem, and they end up keep falling short, losing these close games. They should easily be 8-3. Instead, they're 4-7. But guess what? The Steelers are going to stumble again. We're going to take the Bengals -2.5. We're going to take it to the bank all day long. The Bengals at home are going to rout the Steelers. Double-digit win for the Bengals. I do not believe Russell Wilson will be able to keep up with the offense of the Bengals. Therefore, the running game will be a non-factor, and Russell Wilson is going to show some chinks in the armor, taking multiple sacks. And I think the defense of the Bengals, which has struggled, is going to do enough to give the Bengals a double-digit win, take it to the bank. Boom.
Let's go with the Indianapolis Colts, 5-7 record at the New England Patriots with 3-9. Rumors that maybe ex-quarterback Daniel Jones might sign with the Colts, who knows? But at this time, the Colts are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Quite a few road favorites this week.
Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman are dead to us because they did not help us in our fantasy football last week and all but eliminated us possibly from playoff contention. This Colts team, though, I mean, Richardson's playing better. They fell short. Obviously, they fell short and they lost to the Detroit Lions like everyone else seems to be doing as well. The Patriots are a terrible team. Their coach pretty much doesn't take the blame for anything and he just points fingers. I just think this Colts team is too good to be having this much struggle. The offense is there. Their defense is solid. They should have a great running game. Richardson, I think, is going to turn the corner and continue to have success throughout the year and get better each week. The Patriots are just that bad that the Colts, who are still fighting for their playoff lives at 5-7, are going to get this one done. We're going to give the Colts the road favorites to get the win and the cover. Take the Colts -2.5. Boom.
And let's go here. Tennessee Texans. Did I just do it again?
Yes. Houston Texans.
These teams cost me parlays, and I can't say it right. All right. Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Texans 7-5 record, 5-point favorites on the road. Jaguars have a whopping 2 wins, but 9 losses to go with those 2 wins. Texans 5-point favorites. What do you think?
The Texans failed to cover the 8.5-point spread last week. They're on the road against Jacksonville, which is just dreaded. Doug Peterson's probably going to get fired by year end. This Texans team, now with Nico Collins back, has that extra dimension they've been missing for the 4 or 5 weeks he missed, actually. Joe Mixon was kind of non-existent last week for the first time in many games. He's been on fire. I think he's going to find his footing against a Jacksonville team that basically is just struggling in every facet of the game. And I just don't think, whether it's Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, or Joe Montana coming out of retirement, that Jacksonville is going to maybe even win another game the rest of the year. Take the Texans 7-5 to advance to 8-5, continue to have a division lead by multiple games, and to cover the 5-point spread. Texans -5 all day long. Boom.
The Arizona Cardinals, 6-5 record at the Minnesota Vikings, sitting at 9-2. Vikings 3.5-point favorites at home, and the Cardinals didn't show up to play this week against Seattle, it seems like.
Breaking news, Kyler Murray was up late before the game night playing Call of Duty. He was on a 15-hour bender playing Call of Duty, and he showed up just in time for the game, and his fantasy points and gameplay reflected that completely against Seattle. I don't know which Cardinal team's going to show up. 6-5, no longer due to tiebreakers, first place. If he does, with this young, talented offense of running backs, good receivers, okay defense against this Viking team that still continues to win, but Sam Darnold tries to create ways for them to lose lately. They should have lost or could have lost to the Chicago Bears, but of course it's the Bears. Now the Vikings are at home, which is a very safe confine for them. They win quite a bit at home. Cardinals are traveling West Coast to East Coast. I'm going to the Cardinals. I'm taking the hook. I'm taking the road underdogs plus 3.5. I think that they can come in there. They can keep it to a low score, a situation where they lose by less than 3, and the hook is going to be key. But I do believe there's about a 60% chance that they could upset outright. We will see, but take the Cardinals plus 3.5 with the upset. Boom.
And the last 10 a.m. game start is the Seattle Seahawks at the New York Jets. The Seahawks now at 6-5, and the Jets now deciding what's going to happen with one-time Green Bay Packer quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He seems like he's done and over this. Devontae Adams probably regretting making the move over. Should have gone with Aaron Jones. But Jets are, the Seahawks are the 2-point favorite on the road.
So the Seahawks 2-point favorites only against the 3-8 Jets. Vegas does not want to give up on the New York Jets. I don't really want to either in this spot, but
I feel like that's how Vegas is making their money. People don't want to give up on it, so they feel like, hey, people will still take the Jets because it's Aaron Rodgers. He has to win eventually. And so I get plus money. Let's do this.
I mean, is Breece Hall going to step up and run the ball? I mean, is this offense that has so much potential going to start doing something? And is this defense going to ever live up and measure up? Robert Saleh has to be in Green Bay right now, just laughing his butt off, because this team has been a dumpster fire since he left. I'm going to make this prediction right now. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Minnesota Viking next year. Okay, take that to the bank. If he
Packers go to die.
If he plays, he's going to be a Minnesota Viking. It's the only team that makes sense. It's going to be like a 1-year deal, maybe with an option for 2, while they're getting JJ McCarthy ready. But on another note, the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, he's a prideful guy. This team is going to be at home. And if they played well at all this year, it usually is at home. And they're against a Seahawks team that's going to have to travel West Coast to East Coast. I just think Seattle's got their own flaws. The Jets, in the upset, I believe are going to win this game outright, but take the Jets plus 2. I thought I told you not to let me, the Jets are dead to me, and not to let me bet the Jets. I just can't help myself. I like this matchup. Jets at home, plus 2. Take it to the bank. Yes, take it to the bank. The Jets get the W in the upset. Boom.
All right, we got 3 afternoon games on Sunday. Starting at 1:05. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, like you said, having a good season, and Mike Evans is back. They're sitting at 5-6 at the Carolina Panthers, who are not having a good season, and they're sitting at 3-8. Buccaneers, again, the road favorite, 6 points.
Yeah, the Panthers are pretty much a lock for a top 5 pick again this year, probably top 2. And the Buccaneers are 1 game back of the Atlanta Falcons in the division. Baker Mayfield's playing great. Mike Evans is back. Not much else to say about this one. The Panthers fought hard last week against the Chiefs. This week, not so much. The Buccaneers get it done. They covered a 6, no problem. They win by 13 plus points this week. No problem. Take the Buccaneers comfortably to get the W and the cover. Boom.
And the second of these afternoon 105 games is going to see the Los Angeles Rams kind of struggling in the middle here at a 5-6 record at the New Orleans Saints with their 4-7 record after starting 2-0. And what a surprise. Once again, this week, the Rams on the road are 3-point favorites against the Saints.
Yeah, the Rams are stumbling. I mean, they were looking pretty good, but they failed miserably. In one of my picks, I picked them to lose. I actually picked against the Eagles, and my buddy that's a Philadelphia diehard fan gave me nothing but grief after that game. And the Rams could not protect Matt Stafford. That was problem number one. Problem number two, Saquon Barkley showed up again like he does every single week and smashed them. I mean, the Rams, I don't know. They have that potential, but now all of a sudden they can't seem to protect Matt Stafford. Their running game's solid. They got 2 stud receivers, and even the third is pretty solid as well. The Saints, I don't know what to think. Alvin Kamara is doing pretty well this year. Derek Carr, he's up and down, very unpredictable. This defense is mediocre. I think the Rams get the win. They come in as favorites of -3. They need to win more. The Saints are not dead, though. I mean, in that division that they're in, they're not completely dead. They're going to play hard, but the Rams are going to get back on track this week. They're going to get the W, take the Rams -3 to cover the spread on the road and move on and be 6-0.
And the third afternoon game, call it the Bird Bowl, if you will, the Philadelphia Eagles with Saquon Barkley sitting at 9-2 are going on the road to the Baltimore Ravens, sitting at 8-4. Ravens coming off of a victory this past Monday night, and they are 3-point favorites and potentially Super Bowl preview, depending on how these two team seasons shake out.
Derrick Henry versus Saquon Barkley. The Ravens, who are top-notch rushing defense, against a top-notch rushing offense between Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. The Eagles' defense have taken leaps and bounds since last year. It's night and day. This Eagles team drafted well. They took care of their needs at cornerback, safety, and the front defensive line. Lamar Jackson, who I picked against, well, he came through against the Chargers and the Battle of the Harbaughs. John Harbaugh won again. This game is a dogfight, but I think that this Eagles team, who is the hottest team in football right now, on both sides of the ball, looks so good. I just don't see a path in the world where the Eagles lose this game. I'm going to take the Eagles and the points. I love it. Give me the 3 points. Give me the Eagles. The Ravens are playing solid, but guess what? The Eagles are that much better. I'm sorry for picking against them last week. It was a mistake. But this week, fly, Eagles, fly. Once again, I'm back. I got off the train for 1 week. Temporary insanity. But not this week. The Ravens fall. The Eagles get it done. 7-point plus victory for the Eagles. Take it to the bank all day long. Boom.
Here's a game for our Sunday night viewers at 5:20 p.m. that probably on paper at the beginning of the season seemed like it might be a huge game as well. Now, not so much. San Francisco 49ers, a dismal 5-6 for them, on the road at the Buffalo Bills, sitting at 9-2. Still enjoying their victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Although I did hear, whichever show, it's true. It's like, I guess if the Kansas City Chiefs consistently fall to the Bills during the regular season, but then win the Super Bowl, they're okay with having lost because the pattern is continuing. But some of us hope that's not the case. But it is the Buffalo Bills, 7-point favorites at home against the 49ers on the 5:20 Sunday night game.
49ers at Bills. You're right. It definitely lost some of its luster in the last few weeks. Purdy is still questionable. Hard to say if he's going to play. I don't think he will. I think they're going to err on the side of caution. Buffalo coming off a huge win against Kansas City, and then they get a bye. A perfect situation. They get a bye. They get to rest up, get everyone healthy. We could have used Josh Allen on our fantasy team last week. We can't let it go. We just can't let it go. But you know what? Josh Allen's back this week, and this Bills team at home is pretty much been unbeatable. This Bills team, 7-point favorites. I wouldn't have thought there'd be a 7-point spread against the 49ers this year. I mean, I believe the preseason, week 1, if you wanted to bet this game as a future game, it was probably -2 points, maybe at best for Buffalo. But now we're in a different time. Trent Williams, their left tackle, is questionable. Lots of problems there. So keep track of the injury reports, everybody, because the line is going to adjust. I would not bet this game until it gets closer to the end of the week, unless you really think Purdy and some of those guys are going to play and the line's going to go down. I'm going to take the Bills. I think the Bills are going to cover the spread, but wait till the end of the week to bet the Bills and just find out who's playing, who's not playing. San Fran gets some of their players back. The line's going to drop. You'll get a better point spread. So wait till maybe Saturday night, even Sunday morning. Take the Bills to continue their winning ways at home and go to 10-2. Boom.
Finishing up your shopping on Cyber Monday, you could watch the 5:20 p.m. game if you're a fan of either of these teams. The Cleveland Browns sitting at 3-8 on the road at the Denver Broncos, with Bo Nix potentially making his case for, I believe, the Offensive Player of the Year over Jaden Daniels. And the Broncos at 7-5 are still very surprising, and they are the 5.5-point favorites at home in the Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, the Broncos are fighting hard for that final 7th spot. That's probably the best they can do. I don't think they'll be in the top 6, but the 7th and final playoff spot is up in the air with about 4 teams, and they are one of them. The Brownies shocked the world, and they come in and they beat Pittsburgh, in the snowstorm of the year so far. Now the Broncos, with Sean Payne, needs a happy guy. Bo Nix is playing well. This team all around defensively looks good. Some of these young receivers are stepping up to help out Cortland Sutton. But it's in Bronco land. It's a Monday Night Football game. It's not in Cleveland. It's not a division battle. The Broncos are going to get this done. They're going to cover the spread, 5.5. Browns are going to fall short. And hopefully, if they're smart, lose the rest of their games so they can get a top quarterback that'll be in a rookie contract situation, since they're so tied up with Deshaun Watson's terrible contract, and it's going to cost $70 million against the cap for like the next couple years. They just need to hopefully get a top draft pick with a quarterback that they can play for cheap, and that's all they could do. But as far as the game goes, the Broncos get it done, go to 8-5, and that much closer to their wild card hopes.
Guys, remember, this Thursday morning for the triple header, we're going to be live streaming with the first 2 games. Our commentary won't be able to show the game, blah, 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 obviously NFL restrictions, but we'll be watching it live here. So throw us on the phone or a laptop or something, listen to us talk with you during the game. Have that great parasocial relationship before the family and in-laws come over, and you got to deal with that one as well. And other than that, so hopefully you guys get this video in time, get those Thursday picks in. All be ready for a great Thanksgiving full of food and football, because that's what this time of the year is all about. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And please check our channel for the thumbnail. You can go ahead and get in the queue right now to be notified as soon as we go live on Thursday morning.
All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday. But until next time, gobble, 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 take it to the bank. Boom. I don't know what the